So friends, we are switching to next speaker, Dr. Praveen Singh. He is also alumni of our JNKVV. He did his masters from Department of Agronomy, College of Agriculture, Jabalpur. Now he is heading the hydroponics in Dabur India Private Limited in New Delhi. And he shall be talking about the global food security. Hydroponics growing system is an enabler. So how so he shall be talking on the topic. So I directly invite Dr. Praveen Singh to go through his presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Kevut, and I really thanks Namrata for giving me an opportunity to interact my gurus as well as some seniors and some juniors. So this is a good platform. Having said that, the time allotted is very short, so I like to get something permission from the chairman as well as co-chair. I just skip this presentation. I can just talk without using the presentation. If
you can use some slides, no problem.
No problem.
Yeah. So I studied all my during my study time. I studied with soil. But now I am somehow doing my kheti badi. I can introduce myself as a proud kheti badi wala, and I'm doing my kheti badi without soil. So it is a hydroponics, which is an enabler for ensuring the global food security. So we all know that we are passing through with a very tough phase of this COVID challenge, and we need to understand, we need to assess that how it is impacting my agri production system and agri value chain. So if we analyze that, we just get an information that the major impact of this COVID is in somehow the shipping and transporting agri produce. So if we see pre-COVID, the rural and urban economy were well connected. But the moment this COVID entered, it is becoming disassociated. And all urban areas are densely populated, and it required to feed those people who are living in an urban area. And this hydroponic technique is a technique which is having a potential to fulfill the food requirement of urban population. So let's understand that what is hydroponics. Maybe it is some of our co-members here, they know the hydroponics, because around 10 years back, I was not aware of the literal meaning of this hydroponic, but since past 10 years, I've been doing this. So hydroponic is basically, people know that it is a soil-less cultivation. But if you go further, it is a technique or a technology which enables the grower. I'm talking about the grower here, not the farmer, the grower, the urban grower, providing opportunity to have a better control on growing system. So if I'm saying the better control on the growing system, so it's important to understand that how this hydroponic is different than our traditional growing. So, one hand, this technology is having an efficient use of resources. On other hand, it is having a drawback. If we just compare with the traditional farming, in traditional farming, the soil is acting as a buffering agent. So how it is working as a buffering agent? If any of the grower or a farmer is committing any mistake, so the first impact of that error or mistake is being absorbed by the soil. Whatever is beyond the capacity of the soil is going to impact your crop productivity. However, in hydroponics, you need to be very precise in your agri operations. Any single mistake or a mistake is having a potential to even wipe out your crop. So the traditional farming is very good for those who are doing the farming or learning from their ancestors or from their forefathers. But if you want to enter in hydroponic cultivation, you need to be very precise, and you need to have a skill. You need to means spoil your hand in growing the crop, and you have to learn your growing system. So one is that. Second difference is the resource utilization and the unit area productivity is much higher in hydroponics. I'll only quote an example that we are growing more than 64 plants of lettuce, those high-end leafy vegetables. We are growing 64 lettuce in 1 meter square area, and we have managed to sell that at a 16 rupees per plant, and that is micro plant. So you can assume, and in a year we are getting around 23 cycles a year. So you can just do your calculation for getting the economics. So this hydroponic is having a very high efficient utilization of resources, as well as it is giving you a more return per unit area. So after saying that, the hydroponics, there are some myths around the hydroponics. So let me come later on the myths. First, I'll just tell you that what are the different types of hydroponics. So if we categorize our hydroponics, so hydroponics is in two parts. One is soilless hydroponics. Another is hydroponics where we are only using the nutrient solution. So soilless hydroponic is those, maybe we are growing in a grow bag or some trenches and all, but we are using inert growing media. Why inert growing media? Because the hydroponic, the heart of hydroponic is the efficient nutrient management. So the inert, if you are using inert growing media, so whatever you are supplying, that is only plant is going to absorb or eat. So like cocoa peat, perlite, rice husk, rock wool, these are the growing media you can use in soilless hydroponics. And in that you can grow any of these vine crops like tomatoes, cucumber, capsicum, all the high value crops. The second type of a systems is the NFT, nutrient film technique, where the people are growing their crop, mostly the leafy, in grow channels. So that is the one type, and another type is deep water culture, where the depth of water, the volume of water is much higher than NFT, nutrient film technique. And if you want to choose between these two systems of a hydroponics, so based on the climatic condition, if you have a very high variation of temperature, then you opt for going deep water culture. And if you have something like almost a static kind of temperature, then your NFT system is better for the growth. So the next thing is, people, once we talk about this hydroponics, people just start thinking that it is a technique which is only possible in water, because the definition itself says working with water is hydroponics. But yes, it is beyond that. So the myth that in hydroponics the crop is only grown in water is not right. But yes, the nutrient supply is through the water. The second myth is that it can only be grown or it can only be practiced in greenhouses. So the greenhouses are not related to technology, because this hydroponic technique is what? It is providing better microclimate around the root zone. And if your root, which is the mouth of your plant, is healthy, then definitely it is going to have a better crop or healthy crop. So what I'm saying, the greenhouse is not at all mandatory for hydroponics, but most of the guys who are venturing in hydroponics, they want to tap the off-season market, and because of that, they want to create a better microclimate around the shoot, because the plant is divided into two parts, below ground as well as the above ground. So the greenhouses is only for controlling microclimate around the shoot. So the myth that hydroponic is only possible in greenhouses is not right. The another myth is that greenhouse is a costly technology. Somehow this myth is right for European culture, but in India, still this technology is a costly affair, and it is not for the rural farmers. So it is only for the urban area. But yes, the indigenization of technology is in progress, and maybe over a period of a time, maybe a decade, we'll have this technology for the rural area also. So if we talk about the hydroponic efficacy and its relevance with the COVID, now if we see past few years, there is a demand for healthy food. If I'm talking about the healthy food, so healthy in terms of free from pathogens, free from any harmful chemicals, and free or something like not impacted by weather or other calamities. So it is little difficult to follow all these precautions in traditional farming, but yes, it is very much possible in this high-tech farming, the hydroponic farming, where we have to set our crop production protocol to eliminate the use of any kind of a pesticide. If we can efficiently manage our crop production protocol, then it is definitely we can have a healthy crop. So the next thing what I want to discuss about, that people now are looking this as an economical venture. People are venturing in kheti badi, but little high-tech kheti badi. So generally, whoever is venturing in this hydroponic or high-tech growing system, they commit some mistake. They always consult with those who are already in the industry, like the fabricator of the greenhouses, or some guys who are already in a business of creating these type of protected structure. So it starts from there, and those guys, they get information from the guys who have been doing these greenhouses for the traditional farming. And they start fabricating their structure, and then they decide their crop. And once the structure is done, the fabricator is gone. He has already taken his share of margin, and he left you with struggling with your structure and struggling with your growing. So for those who want to venture in hydroponic growing system, the path he should follow, he should study the nearest market, what is the target market, and try to figure out that what are the 4 major crops which he can grow round the year for getting and realizing a better return. After finalizing his crop, he need to work out, because all guys are there who can share that what this crop required in terms of a weather, in terms of a fertilizer, in terms of varieties and all. So once he frees that, then he need to go for reverse engineering, that what is the kind of a protected cultivation structure or the hardware he is looking for. So once he decides that, then he can go for trying a pilot project, and finally on the success of his pilot project, where he can set the crop production protocol, he can venture in commercial project. So at the end, I will only want to share one thing, which is somehow the factors which are enabling or ensuring the success of hydroponic project. So any hydroponic project, there are 2 components. One is a hardware, another is the software. So hardware, it is not like a computer hardware. Hardware in this hydroponic project is all the infrastructure. like the greenhouse, like the irrigation system, fogging system, fertilizer system, and even the automation system. This all comes under hardware part. And the second component is the software. And the software is how to grow your crop. Which crop, what variety, what is the time of sowing, what should be the temperature inside the greenhouse, what is the nutrient recipe, and means how much, when to harvest, how to process, how to pack. And the contribution of these two components in the success of any hydroponic project is 20/80. 20% is coming from right hardware. If there is some defect in your hardware, the infrastructure, then you can manage well your project. But if you don't have the efficient software, growing technique, the crop production protocol, then the chances of a failure is 80%. So here I want to emphasize those who want to venture in this high-tech farming, they should emphasize on the software and they learn their software before venturing in commercial hydroponics. So with these words, though I have a lot of things to talk on hydroponics, I will stick with my time and I'll just conclude here and I'll just welcome any question. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Thank you very much.
I like something. If you allow me, the organizer, please.
Yeah, there are plenty of questions in the text box.
Sorry,
have you also included there?
No, I have not given anything.
Then I give the priority to them. I give the priority. Okay. Then we'll come to you. Certainly. Right. Okay. Saurav Shankar Dubey is asking that in hydroponic farming, organic certification is possible. How can we manage the fertigation? Kindly explain.
Yeah. See, I honestly speaking, a high-tech grower, they should not bother about whether it is organic or it is inorganic or what. Because it is a commercial venture. You need to focus on that for what your customer is ready to pay. So you need to assess the requirement of your customer, and if he's ready to pay, you can claim it as the most healthy produce instead of claiming organic. And if I just bluntly say the answer of your question, yes, it is possible, but you have to set a crop production protocol according to organic certification.
Next question is a cost-benefit ratio for tomato. I think this question is asked by, let me see, what is the cost-benefit ratio in case of tomato growing, and something more he has asked. Just a minute. What is the benefit cost for tomato growing and which variety are suitable for India? Dr.
See, So I mentioned during my talk only that any crop is possible in hydroponic, but your question is on tomato. But CB ratio is specifically telling that, okay, this is going to be your CB ratio because the cost benefit ratio depends on many factors. For an example, I also grown 8 different varieties of cherry tomatoes. And the people in the market, they were selling the same produce at 150 rupees, but I was selling my produce at 500 rupees a kg. So now see the difference between the CB ratio, it is not standard for everything. So what the missing link is the product innovation. In our agri-food chain, the product innovation is missing. हमारा किसान जो है खेती करता है, खेती करके वो कैसे तैसे वो पहुंचा देता है मंडी में या कस्टमर के पास तक. So if you can do that product innovation, which we managed to achieve in case of a tomato as well as in case of my lettuce, we are the first in India selling live leafy lettuce with root. Maybe you can visit our website Farming Box, and we are somehow charging more than 1,000 rupees a kg. And about the economics, I have already mentioned that we are growing almost 20 to 23 cycles of a lettuce around the year, and with I'll just give you a conservative number, 34 plants per meter square area, and we are selling our one plant of 16 rupees. You can do your mathematics and calculation, and you can just get a rough estimate that how much is the potential of this hydroponic crop. And regarding the variety, nobody can tell you that what is the good variety for your particular project. So you have to select few varieties, do your something like trial on a crop production protocol setting, and out of that only you can get that this is the best variety. I can only share some of the good varieties which I already have in the presentation. So maybe if it is not there, maybe you can directly contact me. I can share all those details with you.
Okay, the last question, Mr. Rajul.
Yes, I'd like to ask it.
Yeah, please.
Okay. Thank you, the presenter, for your nice presentation. As I am very much interested on this hydroponic. As already I made a project to do the business, agro business on this hydroponic. Already I planned, and we are going to start very soon. That is why I have many questions to the presenter. Thank you.
Okay.
The first question is, you said that the lettuce 20 to 23 cycle per year. May I request you to explain how you can manage the 20, let's say not 23, 20. How can you manage? How many days it takes to cover sowing to harvesting?
Hey, Rajul, that's the question, because you have done a lot of experiment and you are about to take off your business. So that question was expected. So if you just something listen my previous answer, I mentioned that product innovation. Okay, so if we try to understand the requirement of stakeholders. So who are our stakeholder? The retailer, organized retailer, we are selling through our organized retailers, and direct customer. These are the two, B2B or B2C. This is two options, okay? So what is the pain point of retailer? The retailer's pain point is the shelf life of harvested produce is somehow very short. So if you just something harvest, it is going to last maybe 4 to 5 days. Okay. So that pain point was with the retailer. And the pain point for the customer, because this is the product which is targeting the higher segment of the society. The customer is niche segment. So what is his requirement? He wants the freshest, crunchiness, good texture of the crop, and nutritious too. Okay, clubbing all these requirements, because we started with somehow the first batch was just harvested produce, and we were selling at 80 rupees, 80 rupees a kg. So we just try to translate this information into a product. How? We are supplying micro lettuce, a lettuce age of 15 days. And it is a universal. If your plant is a tender, it is going to be rich in nutrients. Okay, so 15 days plant, we are packing in such a way with root ball in the box that it has a sufficient moisture for 15 to 20 days. So the shelf life from 3-4 days, it went to easily 12 to 15 days. So we address the challenge of the retailer, and then the customer, the box, the packed box with root is reaching to customer live. So we are providing customer an opportunity to harvest himself. We are not at all harvesting, we are only packing. So you can imagine the kind of a fresh produce. The moment he's going to have his salad, he can just chop a one or two lettuce plant, and he can add those leaves.
Dr. Praveen is very interesting. Many of the participants wants your email or contact number so they can talk to you, and you can just interact with them.
Sorry.
Okay, just let me finish as because he's talking with me. Only you said that 15 leaf plant you like to have.
Excuse me, Mr. Karim. We don't have lot of time. We have only an hour to complete 4 presentations, right? So please bear with us. You can talk to him personally, no problem.
Okay,
He is giving you email. He is giving you the number, right?
Okay, thank you.
I'll put in a chat. What I'll do, I'll put in a chat box. So you can anytime you can just something contact whenever you want.
Very right.
Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to interact with those who has made my somehow career in professional life. I really appreciate Dr. Kevat because I directly somehow learned from him a lot of things. And specifically Namrata, because she is the connecting link between this whole group and the me. So thank you very much.